For the last 2 years, one company has held the entire global economy in a chokehold. They don't pump oil, and they don't print money. They build the brains behind artificial intelligence. But while Nvidia celebrates becoming the most valuable company on Earth, a quiet war has been declared against them. And the enemy isn't a regulator or a foreign government. It's their own biggest customers. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and Meta are currently spending billions in secret to destroy Nvidia's monopoly. They are building their own chips to cut the cord. If they succeed, Nvidia's empire collapses. If they fail, Nvidia becomes the most powerful corporation in human history. Welcome to the Silicon Era. Today, we are looking at the trillion-dollar war for the future of compute. To understand this war, you have to understand the weapon. For 30 years, Nvidia was just a gaming company. They made graphics cards so teenagers could play video games at higher frame rates. But in 2006, Jensen Huang made a bet that confused Wall Street. He created a software layer called CUDA. It allowed programmers to use graphics chips not just for pixels, but for complex math. At the time, nobody cared. But when the AI revolution started, developers realized that Nvidia's chips were the only ones that spoke the language of AI. This created the ultimate business advantage, vendor lock-in. Today, over 4 million developers build on CUDA. If a company wants to switch to a competitor's chip, they have to rewrite years of code. It's the same reason you don't switch from iPhone to Android. The ecosystem is too sticky to leave. That software advantage allowed Nvidia to release this, the H100 Hoover. In the Silicon Valley ecosystem, this 35-pound slab of silicon is currently more valuable than gold. Nvidia sells these units for upwards of $30,000 each. Analysts estimate it costs them less than $3,500 to make. That is a profit margin of nearly 1,000%. Big tech companies aren't just buying them. They are panic buying them. Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg represent billions of dollars in demand alone. They are stockpiling H100s like nations stockpile weapons, because in 2025, computing power equals survival. But paying a 1,000% markup to a single supplier is something that companies like Google and Amazon simply cannot accept. While these tech giants smile and shake hands with Jensen Huang at conferences, behind closed doors, they are bleeding money. They know they cannot sustain their AI ambitions if they have to pay the Nvidia tax forever. So, they have started building their own escape route. It's called custom silicon. Think of an Nvidia chip like a Swiss Army knife. It is incredible because it can do anything: gaming, crypto mining, rendering, and AI. But a Swiss Army knife is never as good as a specialized tool. Big tech companies don't need to do everything. They just need to run their specific AI models efficiently. Google saw this coming years ago. They built the TPU, or Tensor Processing Unit. They don't sell these chips. They use them to run their own massive products like Search and Gemini. By using their own chips, they bypass Nvidia's profit margins entirely. Now, the others are catching up. Microsoft recently unveiled the Maya 100, a chip designed specifically to run OpenAI's ChatGPT. Amazon is pushing Trainium and Inferentia for its AWS cloud customers. The goal isn't to replace Nvidia tomorrow. That's impossible. The goal is to stop relying on them for everything. If Microsoft can move just 30% of their workload onto their own cheap chips, Nvidia loses billions in revenue. They are turning Nvidia from a monopoly into just another supplier. But Nvidia isn't sitting still. Jensen Huang knows the rebellion is coming, and he has one final move left to make sure that even if big tech builds their own chips, they still can't leave. Jensen Huang has been playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers. He realized that if he just sells chips, he can be replaced. So, Nvidia stopped selling just chips. They started selling entire data centers. They call it DGX Cloud. Instead of Amazon buying chips and building their own servers, Nvidia says, rent the supercomputer directly from us. They are moving up the food chain. By owning the hardware, the software, and the cloud service, they are turning into the Apple of AI. Even if Microsoft and Google build their own chips, the rest of the world, healthcare, automotive, robotics, will likely stick with Nvidia because it's the standard. The Swiss Army knife might be expensive, but it's still the safest bet for 99% of companies. So, who wins the trillion-dollar war? In the short term, the big tech rebellion will force Nvidia's profit margins down. The days of 1,000% markups are likely ending. But Nvidia has already built a lead that money can't buy. Trust. The Silicon era isn't about one company ruling them all forever. It's about the realization that computing power is the most valuable resource of the 21st century. And right now, Jensen Huang is the only one holding the keys to the kingdom. If you want to understand the business behind the technology shaping our future, make sure you are subscribed. Welcome to the Silicon era.